companies have been able to participate in trading, what are the improvements, what are the weaknesses, and what is the way forward. And by the time we went into the break, we discovered that Umeme was one of the leading contributors to the turnover that was witnessed on the market. And right now, we are going to get into these particular companies and look at how each of them individually contributed to this performance. So, Mr. Andrew, you've talked about Umeme leading by a huge margin there. What were the specific performance indicators for these companies that led others?
Okay. Yeah, good afternoon, viewers, once again. Especially, we are going to focus on the impact on the index.
Yes.
Yeah, their price movement. And we shall, I think, start with the local ones first. Out of the 10 local companies, let me see, about one of them only had an appreciation in value. But of all the 18, only 10 registered, rather 10 declined, while the other 4, only 4 gained, and 4 stayed flat. When we are to look at individual companies, BAT, British American Tobacco, stayed flat. It stayed at 15,000 compared to the 15,000 it had recorded at the end of July. Bank of Baroda also stayed flat at 85, so it was unchanged. Cipla had a marginal improvement. It closed at 70, a 0.54% improvement, which is very commendable. This was a company which had been declining for a while. DFCU had a marginal decline of 0.18%. It went downwards. NIC declined by 6.45%. New Vision stayed flat at 155. Stanbic had a marginal upward improvement of 0.14%. While, like we saw, Umeme had a 5.26% upward movement. Uganda Craze declined by about 6%. So it's rightly to note that it's our local companies this time who at least had some positive impact on the index, unlike our cross-listed counterparts. Yeah, most of the cross-listed companies registered downward movements. For our viewers out there, when we speak about a cross-listed company in Uganda, these are primarily listed on the Nairobi Securities Exchange, but they cross-list at the Uganda Securities Exchange. So Centum shed 4.6%. East African Breweries, which is one of the largest capitalized companies we have on our market, shed 2.06%. Equity Bank 2.6%. KCB 0.27%. So that gives you an indication of why we had that negative average movement in both the all share index and the local share index. Because most of them, like we have seen, 10 of the 18 had those price declines.
Let's talk about the cross listings. Someone who asked me once, we talk about, for example, the local companies, that the fact that demand and supply forces influence the prices on the market. We see that, you know what, MTN yesterday traded this volume, and you see maybe it may be a positive movement or a negative movement. But for the cross-listed, even when there is no activity, you see a decline or an increase sometimes. And usually you can see that it's within exactly the same percentage. KCB, East African Breweries all move in tandem. What influences this movement besides this forces of demand and supply. For the stock.
Thank you very much, Anthony. Technically, these instruments that are primarily listed on another stock exchange, we try to technically, we try to make sure that the prices resemble the price on the primary exchange.
It would be unfair if you want
Yes, because if they are so different, there would be arbitrage, meaning that somebody can easily manipulate the systems and end up, in fact, manipulating the prices and take up positions and make those abnormal profits. So what happens when the Nairobi Securities Exchange closes? We reference the prices on the Uganda Securities Exchange from the prices Nairobi. That's why, if you notice, though they may have that similar trend, but they are not so different from the prices on the Nairobi Securities Exchange. Yes, when you convert. Just like you've added, we also price using the foreign exchange rate, because these are actual assets which are tangible, meaning somebody can sell a holding from Kenya in Uganda and have that arbitrage. So we make sure that the prices at least track the actual positions on the primary market in addition to ours. Then we factor in the exchange rate. But then by the fact that we have already referenced the positions on the Nairobi Securities Exchange, then they are not independent of the forces of demand and supply. So whether they are Kenyan investors or foreign investors trying to buy and sell these securities on the foreign exchange, it will also have an impact on and also relay those forces of demand and supply.
Onto this exchange.
Yes,
onto the other one.
Yes.
But still they will be portrayed.
Yes. So it does not mean that because Andrew and Anthony in Uganda have refused to put demand, to put bids and offers of these companies, that their prices won't be adjusted. Yes, but we are working on getting some float, because it's a genuine fear. Why should I have to go through a broker maybe in Kenya in order to buy a stock which is listed in Uganda, whether it's a local or cross-listing? So we are having a series of discussions to ensure that with time, an investor in Uganda can get shares of KCB, Equity Bank, East African breweries, and all these cross-listed companies.
Oh, that's beautiful. Now, the Kenyan election just had its conclusions within still the same month.
Yes.
Did you see any of that influence on the markets? Was there any influence of the election?
Absolutely. Just like we discussed and saw, literally almost 8 of the 8 cross-listed companies had price cuts in the month of August compared to July. So most of them declined. Of course, that was partly driven by the fear of maybe any unrest that would come out of the election. And I think it's also right to note that people are still being conscious. The activity on the NSE has actually shrunk and declined until this whole election hysteria is done with. So most of these prices may stay in the red territory until that leadership and election crisis is properly addressed. Because you see, you cannot sometimes invest when you're not sure about peace. This is money you're committing in a company on whether businesses will be run without any interruptions from the masses.
Yes. Talking about money or investing in a company, still these are questions many people in the public ask. That on the initial public offer, you have a company getting money from the public to to use it to grow, get revenue, get increased production and so on. And then on the secondary market, you have shareholders exchanging the securities, exchanging shares.
Yes.
Where is the company in the middle? Because I realized myself, I had the question, if the company already has the capital, it has already got during the initial public offer, then on the secondary market, how does the company kind of benefit? Does it have still some sort of maybe share of the new shareholders who are buying from the primary shareholders, or it actually is out of business now, it's upon the exchange?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, Anthony. And like you've rightly put it, once you do an IPO, and your sole purpose was to get money, after the IPO, you can say to a large extent, for us, we are done here. But when you've opened up your business to external shareholders, whether you've raised capital, most of it or some of it, you discover that you're going to be indefinitely answerable to these shareholders.
Yes.
People are not lending to you money as a listed company, they are becoming part owners. So much as they won't come and knock at your door, Cipla, give us interest, or Weme, give us interest. Shareholders out there will expect the business to perform well. So you have raised your capital, you're detached from the stock exchange, but you have that underlying responsibility as a listed company to ensure that you perform excellently, such that these shareholders wouldn't lend you money, but they gave it to you free of charge, can either get dividends, or with this positive performance, start noticing upward movements in their share prices.
Value addition.
Yes, value addition. I don't think a listed company would be happy to notice that their share price has declined by 90%, by 50%. They feel happier when their share prices appreciate. Yeah, so that is why they actively get involved as well. Some of them, by the way, do not sell 100%. Some need to come back to do secondary offers like Cipla and MTN, so they have to do other mini IPOs. Yes, so they will come back to even raise some bit of more capital in the future. But the main objective really as a listed company is to ensure that share price demonstrates the confidence which these shareholders had in you when they gave you that capital you were looking for at the time of the IPO.
Yes. As we go on to the next part, we want to know what next, for the next month of September. When you look at companies like Stanbic, when you look at their performance in terms of year to date, comparing their price in January with the current price, they're not doing so good. Yes, they have declined. But then when you look at their activity, it's immense, So as a shareholder is trying to choose from which company to invest and which one not to invest. For you as a trading manager, what do you think someone should always look out for? Should you only look out for prices, the stock prices that, hey, this company has been improving in prices, so I'm taking this one? Or you should have a balanced kind of outlook, looking at the performance, the activity, looking at the prices, all in the same balance.
Yeah, that's a very interesting observation, Anthony. And I think you still get the answer. A balance is better. Many people invest for different reasons.
Yes.
You could be retired and you're looking for an investment that can give you something that resembles the salary you used to earn. So most likely you're buying stocks that pay dividends. So for you, you will be focused on, yes, there may be these declines in share prices, but who of these listed companies can pay me a dividend much more frequently, maybe twice a year or 3 times a year, like some of these telecoms are doing, to minimize the impact they had on the currencies. So that way, whether the price has declined, of course, marginally, you may end up buying a stock which has registered a decline in the share price. However, it will give you that dividend. Then related to the portfolio perspective, we usually advise investors to come in with a long-term objective. If you're to see a company decline, it does not mean that it will decline forever. Actually, it may be good for you to buy when the prices are low or depressed, such that once they recover, your money would have registered some growth and return. So having that long-term perspective is extremely important. And if you're to look at it that way, many times you will actually come in when prices are depreciating, compared to coming to buy these companies when their share prices are appreciating, because it becomes more expensive. But then we also have to appreciate the importance of advisors and the licensed stockbrokers, for instance. Unfortunately, not all of us may have that competence of studying a financial statement, reading between the lines, and maybe judging the impact of some of the actions of these listed companies. Why is it important? Because in these discussions with an advisor, you will share your circumstances. Maybe I want to roof a house. 6 months from now, I want to buy a piece of land. I want to throw a wedding, or I want to maybe target a political office, and I have these huge demands for cash. So all these circumstances which are individualistic, and these objectives can guide an advisor to actually give you some of these recommendations on some of the best companies to look at. Now, these advisors, other factors held constant, will embed that long-term perspective, the price discussion notwithstanding, and give you some prudent advice. So they are extremely important. It's very dangerous in the age we are in. Everyone is an expert. You go on WhatsApp, everyone is putting a comment. Now, if you base your investment decisions on a WhatsApp text from a one Mubiru, from somebody called Chintu, you may, what in Uganda we say kutomera, you may lose your money, or you may make investment decisions that are not well informed.
That was a good one there. Now, what next? We are looking into the month of September. Yes, we have about 3 months to the end of the year as well. What should investors look out for keenly within the month of September and the subsequent coming months?
Yeah, I think we have actually hinted a lot of the things you can adopt. As much as possible, it's important or prudent, depending on your circumstances, have some discussions with the traders. I didn't want to preempt on maybe which companies I think or believe may be better performers. But out of these discussions, and perhaps if you're an expert and you're able to understand the financial statement, you can read, maybe this company called Cipla is undertaking a certain investment around this time, or maybe a company like Stanbic has got a law, they have undertaken a certain contract, or Uganda Clays, they have just won a tender to construct a very huge project somewhere. So if you're to look out for some of those announcements in the news, or even the plans they demonstrated in their AGMs And the financial statements, it can give you a specific indication on where you can perhaps concentrate most of your investments. But broadly speaking, as a whole, like I hinted at the start, we tend to see most of our activity between the month of September and December, markets worldwide, compared to the earlier parts of the year. The last 4 months tend to give us the bulk of the activity. So we expect these figures to improve, and by God's grace, even better some of the targets we have set up. Yeah, so for an investor out there, I think equities are still very competitive as a whole. I won't be very specific to tell you go into this, but if you're looking for that asset class that can give you growth, equities are still very competitive. We have noticed that 10 out of 18 had declines in their share prices. This may be a good time for an investor out there to get in, to buy some of these stocks, such that when it starts reversing, these negatives will turn into positives and your money will grow. Yes.
Well, as we run, of course, to the end of the show, maybe for people out there who are watching the show for the first time and want to know where to start their investment journey, how to open the SCD account, and all the other details, if you could help them.
Yeah, for our investors out there, you want to start investing, you have about 2 routes you could take. If you're an MTN with a registered mobile money number, if you do *165#, financial services, Uganda Securities Exchange, you're able to register or get an SCD account with us at the click of your phone. It's actually free, at a click of a button. Yeah, but many times you may need that personal touch. You want somebody you can run to. If you're to visit our website, there are details of licensed stockbrokers who can help you to invest or to buy shares. You could even contact us on email at info@usc.or.ug, and we share with you a form in case you're traditional and you need a person you can work with to help you register. We can also help you to do it, to register. An SCD in simple language is simply a trading account. You cannot buy or sell shares without it. It's free of charge. Unlike bank accounts which attract bank charges, this one has no charges whatsoever. But you cannot invest without these SCD accounts. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Thank you very much for sparing time, Mr. Andrew.
Welcome.
Yeah, we hope to see you again very soon.
Welcome.
Yes.
It's a pleasure to have been back, and I look forward to come and engage with you, the viewers, and Anthony once again. Thank you very much to all the people who are viewing us.
Yes, well, thank you. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That was Mr. Andrew Mwima, and he's a trading manager from the Uganda Securities Exchange. And we've been talking about the month of August and what we are looking up to in the month of September. It's the second day of September. It's not yet too late. The routes are very clear, how you can open an SCB account, how you can start your investment journey. All you have to do is to start right now. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'll catch you next week, same time, same place. Have a good weekend.